Warner Brothers Animation has been making cartoons since the 1930s. They're responsible from everything to Bugs Bunny to Batman to Scooby-Doo and the Lego movies. So it's no surprise that their characters are simply known all around the world. The question is, should you pitch them? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to explain that maybe you should, but to give you a little hint, it's going to have a lot to do with you understanding their position in the corporation, bringing your incredible talents to bear, and it's probably not going to be your idea. Hey there, welcome back to Surviving Animation, your guide to making it in the business of cartoons. My name is Eric Calderon, and first of all, happy 2019 to everyone. I've got a lot to do in this new year, and to start off with Surviving Animation, I'm going to be doing a little series I'm calling How to Pitch. Now, over the next few episodes, I'm actually going to be explaining specifically how to pitch some of the larger buyers in the US. I think that was something I did a little bit of last year, which people really liked. So we're going to start today with Warner Brothers Animation, but in upcoming episodes I'm going to cover Cartoon Network, Apple, Disney, Nickelodeon, and some of the other buyers I think they're important for you to know in the business of cartoons. So okay, let's get down to Warner Brothers Animation. Alright, as I already hinted at the beginning of this video, the key to understanding Warner Brothers Animation begins with understanding the position it has in the larger corporation of Warner Brothers. Now, my analysis today is actually going to specifically focus on the TV animation division, and that division is the company that actually does most of the 2D cartoons like the Batman and the Aquaman and the Justice League stuff, the Scooby-Doo animations, the Teen Titans, and the Unikitty and Bunnicula. It is not specifically related to the movie division, which actually is responsible for the Lego movies and the big budget features. So just so you guys know, today's focus is going to be on the TV animation part of Warner Brothers and their position. So where does Warner Brothers Animation actually sit in the larger corporation of DC? Well, the easiest way I think to think about it is that they sit in the middle of a bunch of other companies that they need the support of in order to ultimately greenlight anything. So to begin, we have DC, which encompasses the entertainment division, the film division, the comic division, and the interactive division. And then you've got Boomerang, which is related to all the retro cartoons and all the classic titles that have already been completed. You've got Warner Brothers Home Video, which is actually the distribution partner that actually puts the physical product or sends out the streaming signal and ultimately finances everything. And then you've got Cartoon Network, which is a big broadcaster which has its own brand and its own materials, but then Warner Brothers actually partially feeds into them. That's not all, by the way. So underneath Warner Brothers Animation itself, not necessarily considered a sister part of it, is actually the entire Hanna-Barbera library. So anything that is Scooby-Doo or Flintstones or Yogi Bear or Jetsons actually sits underneath that Warner Brothers Animation shell. So what's interesting is that if you think about Warner Brothers Animation as the center of all these parts and pieces, you realize that they can never act completely alone.
I know! Oh, how I know!
Another important point about Warner Brothers Animation position is the awareness of the incredible resources that they already have at their disposal. They have a large studio in Burbank. They actually have relationships all around town with post-production studios, recording facilities, and they also have a network of production companies working around the world on the types of shows that they do. So at any point in time, they're probably in production on a dozen different kind of 2D, sometimes 3D projects. So they actually have a very well-oiled production management team as well. So there are a lot of great people working at Warner Brothers, as well as having a great position of all the rights and licensors and financiers.
Come on, Freddie, tell us, what's the plan?
So if you really do understand Warner Brothers' position and Warner Brothers' ability to actually make cartoons, you may be wondering to yourself, do they really need me? Do they really want anyone to pitch to them? Well, the truth is they kind of don't. Now, I'm not saying that in a totally negative way, and that doesn't mean that you should never approach them, but there's kind of two very specific scenarios which I think are the right time to pitch Warner Brothers, and let me explain those.
Such an interesting monster, too. My stars, if an interesting monster can't have an interesting hairdo, then I don't know what things are coming to. In my business, you meet so many interesting people.
The first scenario is if you have some type of absolutely unique talent. Now, I know that sounds very general and may even seem a little bit simple, but when you think about it, Warner Brothers Animation is a rights management company, and they're responsible for making sure that these intellectual properties are constantly new in the face of the next set of kids watching Batman or watching Aquaman or watching Bugs Bunny. So if you feel that you've got a really unique approach, perhaps a way of drawing, a way of directing, a way of writing, that can make these characters new again, I think it's the right time to talk to Warner Brothers Animation.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Wile E. Coyote, genius. I am not selling anything, nor am I working my way through college. So let's get down to cases. You are a rabbit, and I am going to eat you for supper. Now, don't try to get away. I am more muscular, more cunning, faster, and larger than you are, and I'm a genius, while you could hardly pass the entrance examinations to kindergarten.
The next scenario that I think might be the right time to talk to Warner Brothers Animation is if you have some type of unique production capacity. Now, that's a little bit different than unique talent. It may mean that you have perhaps a SWAT team of 3D animators that can get something done at a budget, or you have a really cool set of 2D animators that when you guys work together, you create a unique kind of production that Warner Brothers Animation has not seen or done on their own yet. Or even better, perhaps you are connected to or are yourself a new affordable studio at some location, whether that be in Canada or the Philippines or Malaysia, that has some kind of aggressive tax subsidy that makes your production cost either more affordable, more efficient, or simply available at the right time and right place. So production capacity, or the unique type of production capacity, is another time I think it's good to approach Warner Brothers Animation.
Let's end this, Joker. Just you and me.
With pleasure! Oh, I'd hate to come all the way to ancient Japan and miss out on a samurai sword fight. Right, bots?
Then you won't be disappointed.
Okay, so the last thing that I do want to say about Warner Brothers Animation, as you've probably put together from listening to this whole video, is that it's probably not the best place to bring your new, original, unproven idea. If you think about it, Warner Brothers just has too many properties, too many licenses, and too many other priorities to actually serve those licenses, that it's just really not the right place to come in and say, hey, I want to pitch this brand new thing. Now, there are exceptions to this. They are recently been producing Bunnicula, which is not a legacy title, but remember that that's actually a big children's property. It already has a big footprint in the marketplace, so that was not just an original pitch. So real talk, they're probably not going to take your idea, but if you've got a way to recreate one of their ideas, it's probably the best way to go. Okay, that's the advice I have for you for how to pitch Warner Brothers Animation. Please do subscribe if you'd like to stay in touch with the upcoming episodes of this little How to Pitch series that I'll be producing over the next weeks and months. In the meantime, your likes are loved, your subs are adored, and whatever it is you're trying to do in the business of cartoons, I'm here to help you survive. See you later. In the meantime, your likes are loved, your subs are adored, and if you want to survive, so close.